Hey everyone, today I picked up Dragon Quest VI, and I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about the series. So this video is going to focus on the Dragon Quest series as a whole. The Dragon Quest series was the first JRPG and arguably one of the best. It was released before the first Final Fantasy game in Japan. Yuji Horii, the original creator, is still heavily involved in the making of the game and the remakes. From Dragon Quest I to Dragon Quest IX, there is a huge difference in play. The series is now polished and unique from its arguably crude start and has grown tremendously. The entire series has sold more than 54 million units worldwide, with 48 million of those in Japan. Dragon Quest VIII and IX, however, were well received in North America, which may ensure we see the release of Dragon Quest X on the Wii later this year. Chronologically, the games break down like this. Dragon Quest III is the third game released. It was released as a prequel after Dragon Quest II. Said to be the most often favorite, it is the first true story in the series. The demon lord Baramis has caused a misery among the people of the land, and only the son or daughter of Ortega can save the people from his wrath. You select a party of 9 different classes, but you can only have a total of 4 in your party. Like other RPGs, your characters will also need stats. So to start out, instead of rolling for chance, you take a short personality quiz. The results will set up a character and your party. These stats, however, can be altered during the game by finding books that you read throughout your quest. They can change your attributes and your personality. The game takes about 30 to 35 hours to complete, and it's one of the top titles in the whole series. This game can be found on the Game Boy Color and the original Nintendo Entertainment System. The next game in this story would be Dragon Quest I. In this game, the wicked Draco Lord has stolen the light orb from the castle and kidnapped the princess. As a descendant of the legendary hero Loto, you arrive and you receive a task of defeating the Draco Lord, rescuing the princess, and bringing peace to the world. This is the first game that was actually released in the series. It was released on the Nintendo Entertainment System and then later on the cartridge you see here for the Game Boy Color, which holds Dragon Warrior 1 and 2. The game is short and will only take about 5 to 10 hours to complete. However, it is a bit repetitive. One character roaming around the world with baddies leveling up, and you have to go back to see the king to save. To beat the game, you have to talk to people in towns to unlock the mystery of your descendant Loto, so that you can learn the secrets in beating the dragon. There's only one boss in the game. It's simple but yet a very classic title. Dragon Quest II, after defeating the Dragon Lord, the hero leaves with the princess to find a new land of their own to rule. They end up having 3 children in the kingdom of Torland, and the kingdom is at peace, until one day a new enemy, Hargan the Sorcerer, throws the kingdom into chaos. The king turns to his children, who are now the kingdom's only chance of survival. You are the son of the direct descendant Loto, and the last chance for Torland. In this title, it's the first game in the series to have a party mechanic. The game will take about 10 to 15 hours to complete, has similar gameplay to the first, but you will find more boss battles throughout. The music and difficulty level are improved, and I really like the addition of the party system to the game. These are the games that make up the main story. Additional games are made after this trilogy and share common elements like baddies, parties, music, battle system, but are also different in their own little way and have added something unique to their series. Let's talk now about how the other games differ. Dragon Quest IV, which was originally released on the Nintendo Entertainment System and then re-released on the Nintendo DS, expands the series into new ideas for RPGs. It tells the story of you as a hero, and you play through to meet 4 different characters. In the prologue, it talks about who you are as the hero, and the next 4 chapters you meet your 4 party members. It turns out that all 4 characters who have different lives end up intertwining to bring this story together. It's a very rich experience, and I very much enjoyed the game. Dragon Quest V is one of the few games ever made in which your character grows up as part of the story. At the end, you even end up taking a wife. There is something about this game that is just magical, and it is my favorite out of all the games in the series. It has a monster hunting engine built similar to Pokemon, where you can have the Dragon Quest monsters fight as your party members. You get to choose a wife, and depending on who you choose, it may alter the story. The innovation that was added to Dragon Quest VI was that if we can't have one map be enough, why not have 2? Dragon Quest VI gives you 2. Early on, you discover a parallel world as you start to move back and forth between it and your world. At first it looks the same, but then you start to notice differences. You can also add hybrid vocations in this game, where you don't have to stick to the standard ones but instead can upgrade your job classes. The two parallel worlds are interesting, and it adds a lot of fun to the game, including doubling up on your treasure.
Length is what was added to Dragon Quest VII, 100 hours of gameplay in fact. It was also the first 3D in the series. In this game, you play as a 16-year-old boy who needs to travel around to find stone tablets to reunite the continents. The game is produced for the PlayStation 1, and the game does have cutscenes, but not as many as you would expect from a PlayStation 1 era RPG. There is no voice acting, and the Nintendo DS remakes look very similar to this original game.
One of my favorite things added to the series as a whole was added in Dragon Quest VIII, and that was the alchemy engine added by level 5 in this game. There are many other reasons to like Dragon Quest VIII, but that's the #1 reason for me. Voice acting was added as well, and the story is one of the best. It boasts gameplay well over 100 hours, and just when you think the story is over, another plot twist keeps going. In this game, they also added a small mechanic of having a little pet hamster named Munchie. It allows you to access areas and secret rooms that you couldn't normally gain entry to. Dragon Quest IX was made for the Nintendo DS, so the voice acting was removed, and the alchemy engine was revamped. A wireless map system was added, and this took the adventure outside the game itself. We returned to a 35 to 40 hour story length for those who want more. There is a seemingly endless gameplay added through the map system. You can also play multiplayer, but it is local with a friend who also has the game in their own Nintendo DS. You can find treasure maps for hours, making the game endless, and it expands the universe using the Celestian race. If I could only play one game series for the rest of my life, the Dragon Quest series would be it. This is definitely my favorite RPG series of all time. Some people call it crude because it has cel-shaded graphics and it takes very cliché stories, but I think that each game has its own innovation. Starting with the first trilogy, you start out with very simple Japanese RPG mechanics. The third game in the trilogy, Dragon Warrior 3, adds on a much longer story explaining the first two rather well. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all independent RPG games. They all carry similar things, but the innovations that have been passed down were just perfect to be added to the series. It doesn't feel cluttered, it doesn't feel weighted. The stories are clever and the graphics and music are very well done. This is the original Dragon Quest series. There are many other Dragon Quest spin-off games that are just as good as the whole series itself. Definitely check one out if you haven't played it. If you want a game to start with, I thoroughly recommend starting with Dragon Quest IX. It's an independent story. It's a little bit easier than some of the others. It's 35 to 40 hours, and if you want more than that, you can expand on the map system. If you wanted to try the whole series out, this is the game you want to start with. It's actually the first in the storyline, and then you can move on from there. If you've never picked up a Dragon Quest game, please do. It's an excellent series. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching.